better than other days, and this is one of those days because we are in a Volvo. This is the V60, but not any V60. This is the T8 R-Design, top of the line, party piece V60, and that means that this is going to be a good day. My name is Peter, welcome to the channel, welcome to Reviews on Anything. We are going to check out what this V60 is all about. And let's start with the design. Bam! What a car! Absolutely stunning. This is one of the best looking cars in its class, I think, if not the best one. This is a fantastic looking car inside and out. The design is typical Volvo, but it's cool, it's aggressive, it's understated at the same time. It's an amazing piece of design. This is the car, if it stands in your driveway, that you can be very, very proud of owning. Even in this super wide version with the black accents, I would probably not order it in this color combination, but it looks amazing. Now this is the V60, so it is a bit bigger than the V40 and slightly smaller than the V90, which is the really big one. It's a bit on par with the Mercedes C-Class, BMW 3 Series, Audi 4 Series, so that gives you a bit of an idea of the size. So it's not, you know, super large in the boot or super large here inside, but it's more than plenty for people, in my case, like with a family, to go on holiday with. Everything fine there. So this car in particular has the T8 engine. Obviously there's a whole range of diesel and petrol engines available, but this is the twin engine plug-in hybrid version, meaning you get 300 horsepower in the front with the combustion engine and about 85 horsepower from the electric motor in the rear, making it all-wheel drive and making it very flexible in terms of how you want to use all that power. There's different driving modes that you probably never touch, but you can go for the full banana, you can go for permanent all-wheel drive, or what you will probably do is put it in hybrid for everyday use, where the car figures it out for you. Meaning that on the highway you probably use the combustion engine most, with a bit of assistance when you do some overtaking from the hybrid system, but as soon as you come off the highway, everything quiets down, the car figures it out and notices that all that power is not necessary anymore, and then you drive into town fully electric. With that come the benefits, for example, like we're going to go in a multi-story car park now, is that parking is always electric as well, providing you still have some battery left, of course. Now it's nice and quiet, nice and relaxed, and sort of driving around in and around town is also very, very nice. Because I drive a big diesel myself, and it's always, you get that feeling when you're driving into town with your big diesel engine thinking, yeah, it's not really what you're supposed to do this day and age anymore. It's just not nice. And with this hybrid option, you do get that silent propulsion, that torque that comes with the electric motors. And it's just nicer to drive that way, in and around town, in and around your house. It is a very nice experience. So this being a plug-in hybrid, obviously you can plug it in to charge. Now I think in reality you'll leave the charging cables at home, because why would you lug them around if you have the combustion engine anyway? It's just, you know, taking up space in the boot, and you will always get home as long as you have fuel, so, you know, no issues there whatsoever. I think you're going to charge this either only at home or at home and at work if you have a charging facility there, so you can just do your commute fully electric and only use the combustion engine maybe in the weekend or maybe when you go on a longer journey. Really charging at IKEA and charging at a supermarket, in reality I don't think you're going to do that, because it's just too much of a hassle to plug it in every time. You're not going to get that much charge out of it. You're going to pay for the charging facilities there too, because it isn't free no matter how you twist and turn it. Now Volvo obviously claims all kinds of fuel emission figures. In reality, if you're going to get those, so much depends on your driving style, then it's hard to say if that's realistic or not. If you have a 15-kilometer commute to work, you charge there and at home, and in the weekend you visit your parents that's, you know, 50 kilometers away, then yeah, sure, you're going to get amazing fuel economy. But don't forget, the electricity is not for free either, and you know, it depends so much on your driving style on if you're going to get any kind of number, that I think that's not really relevant to discuss. And that being said, why would you buy a 300 horsepower combustion engine version of this hybrid system if you are so after economical driving? Now in hybrid mode, which we'll probably be using most of the time, the computer is constantly switching power around from the engine and the battery pack when available, and you barely notice this happening in the background. You really have to focus on your dials in order to see what's going on, because the needle keeps moving up and down when it's doing regen braking or when it's kicking some extra power from the engine. But when you don't pay attention and you're just cruising along, you barely notice it happening. So that is a good job well done. Now the V60 in general is, you know, a spacious family car, so it sits on the road nicely, it drives nicely without being overly large. So overall it is a car that's easy to place and a car that's relatively easy to drive. This R-Design version is stiffened and lowered, and made more sporty. I don't know by how much or percentage wise or anything, but it is noticeably firmer than a very standard V60. And it certainly has sporty handling characteristics. You know, it's direct steering, it feels nice and planted throughout any kind of corners, high speed or low. And that is actually kind of nice, because you do carry a bit of extra mass with the battery pack obviously, but that mass is not getting in the way. That is also due to the character of this car. This is a car for cruising, not a car for racing and trying to get lap times on the Nordschleife. So, you know, it suits the character of the car really well, that it is, you know, good to place and good to steer without being overly firm, and still, you know, being able to handle its weight properly. Obviously you start noticing the weight when you start to really lean on it in corners, when you have to brake hard. That's when the weight comes into play, but overall in daily use, not much of an issue, especially with this much power on your right foot. It can handle the weight really well. Technology wise, you pretty much have everything you'll ever need. In the middle, the nice big tablet style screen from Volvo that we all know. Great to use, nice and easy, especially for, you know, my generation that has been brought up with iPads. It's excellent, works great. The icons can get a bit small, especially on the go. Sometimes it's hard to hit the right icon, but you could also argue that when you're on the go you shouldn't fiddle around too much. So, you know, fair enough. As soon as you're stationary though, super easy to use. You can dive as deep in the menus as possible to change pretty much anything about the car. Look at your range and your graphs in terms of fuel consumption. Pretty much everything you need. So that's great, works great. In front of you, you got fully digital displays as well that are not as comprehensive as, for example, Audi's virtual cockpit, but it's great. On the right side, you got your powertrain and what it's doing. On the left side, you got your speed, and the middle usually is for navigation and so on. So excellent combination, works great, easy to read. Both of them with sunglasses, by the way, that I'm wearing, as you can see. I like to drive with sunglasses. The head-up display is not as clear with sunglasses. At night it's no problem, obviously, because then you don't wear sunglasses, but during the day it is noticeably fainter with sunglasses than without. The head-up display, usually I find it a bit of a gimmick, but this one is nice and simple, so you get your speed, cruise control and navigation on it pretty much, and that's all you need. So Volvo keeps it nice and simple there, and it's kind of nice, you know, it prevents you from having to take your eyes off the road, so it is a nice extra thingy to have on the car, I suppose. Maybe a good question to ask is who this car is for, and specifically this powertrain. Because obviously the V60 is for anybody who wants a, you know, nice, well-designed, reliable, practical car with enough space for a small family. So, you know, like in my case, 2 small kids, that all fits just fine. This powertrain in particular is also, I think, exactly for people like me who do require power from the engine. I go to Germany a lot, go to Switzerland a lot, so I do want a car that has performance when I need it. But I also want a car that is not waking up the neighbors in my neighborhood, because, you know, I live in a nice rural outskirt of the city, so I don't want some kind of high performance, high revving engine when it's not necessary. And then I think the hybrid option is fantastic, because as soon as you get off the highway you can cruise into town, park in your neighborhood electrically, silently, so that's a fantastic combination. And you still have all that performance from the combustion engine, but also the combined package when you need it. So with this car you are absolutely fine on the German autobahns, and you're actually giving fast Audis a run for their money when you want to, in a very effortless way. Now, of course, as with every car, there is stuff to complain about with this V60, albeit nitpicking. First of all, there's the middle console, which doesn't have much storage to begin with, but there's a special slot here for your phone with the USB plug and everything. Super handy, unless your phone doesn't fit in, which is the case with my phone. Then there's the fact that you can control the radio from the steering wheel and down there with a knob and a button. Super handy, albeit double, but for the climate control you always have to go to your screen. There's no other option, which is a bit weird. If you put a knob for the volume, you might as well put a knob for the ventilation and the air conditioning as well, in my opinion, because it is, you know, possible to operate it from the screen. It's all fine, but as you're driving, it is annoying, and dialing a knob is always easier, especially for things like climate control. And then there is the gearbox, the 8-speed Geartronic from Volvo in this car. I also didn't like it that much in the XC40 Volvo that we drove. There it was especially struggling at low speed. This car at low speed, you'll probably drive electric, so it's not much of an issue there, but it's still not the last word in refined shifting, if you ask me. Here on the highway, if you do want to go for an overtake and you put your foot down hard, it does like a double back shift, and you jerk and lurch a bit. Yeah, it's not, you know, the best thing in the world. In all honesty, 95% of the time it is just fine, and you barely notice that it's doing any kind of shifting. But yeah, that last 5% is, you know, nitpicking at this point, I'd say, but still it is something I notice quite a bit. I've done a couple of long distance drives in this, a few hundred kilometers at a time. Fantastic car for that. With the powertrain, everything in automatic, everything in hybrid. It's relaxing. You can hear the wind noise, or maybe not, but we're doing 153 kilometers an hour now, so the wind noise is kept at bay. And even when you get up to higher speeds, which you certainly can with this engine, you know, you put the excellent Bowers & Wilkins stereo system on and all is well. Seats are comfortable, driving position is nice, you sit a bit lower because the car is lowered as well. Overall, it is a very nice place to be, also for longer periods of time without getting uncomfortable in any way, shape or form. So after a week in the Volvo V60, what kind of conclusion can we reach here? Well, obviously the V60 is an awesome family car, especially for me with 2 little kids. It's a car with all the space you really need. Could the boot be bigger? I guess so, but in reality this is just fine. I think a combination with this T8 powertrain, it's a fantastic combo of a lot of power on your right foot and still the option of driving fully electric for, albeit a limited range, but effectively all you need in and around town as well. I think it's an excellent combination between all that power, electric driving, all-wheel drive whenever you need it, which is perfect again for me, somebody who comes in Germany a lot, drives on the autobahns, also goes to Switzerland a lot. When you do want that extra power, this is a perfect powertrain in terms of what it delivers and how it delivers it. I like how Volvo is not competing with an M3 or a C63, like I already said. It's a different kind of car, they say. We're aiming for comfort, for safety, for driving pleasure, but not that kind of tire smoke drifting circuit stuff. That's not our game. This is a different kind of car. And I think the combination of the style that this Volvo brings to the party, albeit the R-Design version, but it looks fantastic, with that powertrain is a perfect option for somebody like me who wants a good looking car, who wants performance, who wants that electric drive as well in the back of his head, but also just wants a practical family estate car, which makes this pretty much the perfect car for me, I'd say. Obviously, we've got to talk about the price. The Volvo V60 in its base form starts around 40-something thousand euro. This one with the R-Design and the T8 powertrain is almost 80,000 euro, which is a lot of money, but if you look at an Audi S4 Avant, for example, that costs 100,000 euro. So in comparison to that, it's not that bad. And don't forget, this is a premium product, so you know, that does cost a lot of money. For that money though, I think you're completely finished with this model. It has everything you'll ever need in terms of power and performance, design, style, toys inside. It really is the whole package. So is this going to be my next car? Potentially, actually. It is certainly on the short list. I'm going to have to drive the Volvo V90 to see if the size difference is justifiable in terms of price. But I think this package is perfect for me. And I think for a lot of people in my sort of demographic group, mid-30s, 2 kids, that do want design and performance at the same time, this is pretty much the perfect package, I'd say. This is it for this video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. That always helps us out a lot. Thank you Volvo Holland for providing the car. Hopefully we can do many more videos together. Until then though, I'll catch you guys in the next one. Cheers!